So I guess my final question in like the VFX YouTube world is like, all right, so we just established you had 400 something shots in VFX in a YouTube video in 10 days, where the Matrix took longer. I think it's safe to say, right?
Yep.
So when you think about making more and more VFX inside YouTube videos, which is now what's going through my head after seeing this, and this pre-visualization process and how much it helps with cutting down the time it takes to actually integrate the VFX into the video, do you think it's likely or possible we'll see more stuff like this in the future on YouTube, meaning more videos with VFX built in because of appropriate and helpful pre-vis?
Yeah, I mean, I think pre-vis has always been around, but I think because it's being integrated with a final product, and you're able to say, okay, I'm now able to walk around this, I made this, and now it can be my final video as well. I think it's definitely going to be an end-all medium, because if you watch our behind the scenes, you can see that we literally made a video game out of that. Like, I honestly, I'm convinced that you're going to be able to say, hey, here's this awesome short film, right? I also took the assets and I made the short film concept into a video game, and the video game is also for sale or downloadable.
Make it playable,
yeah, so you can, and basically you have this, like, you can build a world of IP, right, out of a film, and then you can have different entertainment all from that one singular software.
That's interesting.
That was running everything, because it is running real time. Like, imagine a movie, like imagine a movie that you're watching, but then you're able to change the color of the hero's car, right? If it were running locally on your on your computer.
Wow.
Yeah, or advertisements changing depending on the viewer's age,
or even
like they're holding a beer or a Coca-Cola,
or like you go to the Matrix or something like that. You're like, here's the Matrix. It's an incredible movie. Now here's like a VR game that you can play in the same scene as one of the scenes from the Matrix.
Yeah,
incredible.
That's gonna, I think, like, this idea of, like, I guess, entertainment kind of merging is something I think, in the next decade, if not sooner, we're going to see that with film and YouTube and TV in video games. And there's going to, like, I don't know, like, I think this is maybe getting into some, like, metaverse conversations.
But 100%.
But it's this idea of, like, you now have, like, you're building a playground to make a movie, which is the same playground you play in to play video games, which is the same playground you could play in if you want to do a podcast. There's a world where we could be sitting in a Squid Game set right now on this podcast, and it's not a world that is far away from the world we're in right now. And it's not, the thing is, it's not becoming that much more difficult to do when you've already built that world, and so it's really interesting. I think we'll see a lot of content creators, like, especially post Squid Game, start to wrap their heads around the potential of this technology. And the technology itself is becoming more accessible and more easier. One of the things, like, we talk about how we did more shots in the Matrix, right? I think kind of the hero in that story is not necessarily our talent and our skill. While that's a part of it, there's a big part of it which is the tech has evolved in so many ways. And that's the kind of the cool thing about it, is, like, we're able to now utilize this new tech to make these things possible. I don't think we'd have been able to do this in 10 days without the ability to do real-time graphics, without the ability to, like, create this thing that we can see it in real time, we can iterate in real time, we can put the frame and composite in the shot in real time. Even 5 years ago, if we were doing offline rendering, like, this would have been so much slower. So I think we're really just at a precipice of this kind of new tech that is now getting in the hands of content creators. And I think in the next few years, we'll see some really cool stuff come from it.
For a lot of our films, I still use, like, CPU rendering, and it will take 5-10 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes a frame, right? And it's just ridiculous to sit there and let that go, because I could spend a week on a shot, or even longer if I want it to be like a certain, if it's like a hero shot for the film. But we knew going into this project that was not something that could be done, and we had to use real-time technology. But the thing is, as real-time technology, as video games are always racing to become more realistic, there will be a point where, like, the quality level will match film, and then you're just going to be able to have films run in game engines.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're experiencing now. We kind of just jumped the gun a little bit and said, okay, we're going to use Unreal Engine to do this. We're going to use it for our end-all solution. It's going to be from the beginning. We're going to build it in here, and then we're going to finish it in here, and then create the content. Yeah. So it's super cool to see where that leads to. And that was kind of why we threw in that little, like, glass bridge game in there because it's like the possibilities are really cool. I'm just starting to see where it's all going to go.
I kind of wish this would have been a fun experiment. I wish when we were doing the project, we would have like kept a stopwatch of like when something is like what amount of time is something rendering that an artist is not able to work, and we minimize that as much as possible with a lot of the real time, because anyone who's really familiar with VFX in a traditional pipeline will know like you can work for a couple hours, but when you need to render the preview or you need to render the final thing, you need to step back and wait for a couple hours to see. Like that would have been a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, you can know that. You can see from our behind the scenes that the Unreal Engine part was the fastest part about the process because the guy running it literally had time to make a video game.
Yeah.
Like
True.
he was like working those 10 days, but also had time to do that. And, you know, I had spent time prepping the scenes and I built the scenes. And then I'm also a compositor. So I wanted to like use myself as the ability to also like work on some of the shots. So we brought in our buddy Taus, who I went to college with, and he does some great stuff in Unreal Engine. So he was running Unreal the entire time, and then we worked together to do all of that. So it's really cool that he was literally able to do that with that real-time tech while we were in the middle of a very pressed for time project.
Yeah.
It kind of shows like that real-time rendering is really just the future of rendering of any kind.
Yeah, I think the project as a success story showed how well the tech has worked and how far it's come. And I feel like now we're in post-Squid Game YouTube. That's how I look at it.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I'm so excited to see like this, like what creators can take from this and what they can like. I think next year is gonna be awesome for content creators. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what comes from that.
I'm inspired.
I think it's time we do a BTS of them now.
Yeah, we should
circle it up. Yeah,
we need to start doing more VFX in our videos too.
That'd be sweet.
All right, thanks for watching that quick clip. I don't know about you, but conversations like this get me very inspired, and so I was just happy to have these new gears turning in my head after the conversation. Again, anytime we talk to creators though on the podcast, let us know what others you want to have us have on, because clearly we're willing to chat.
Anything tech related, anything down and dirty tech related. I feel like that podcast could have went on for 4 hours, but they had stuff to do.
Yeah,
but
they're busy people.
We'll bring them back maybe. Press. That sounds means you should press.
It sounds like
the like button.
It sounds like we're in
button.
Squid Game. So ominous. So ominous.
That's not a good thing. Bye everyone. I hope. Leave in the comments who will win Squid Game between Marques and I. We're so far past where I think we should be at this ending, so I don't think Adam's going to use any of this. But now that I'm saying it out loud means he'll probably use it.